Bum, bum. Good morning. I can't sing worth a shit. Good morning guys. I'm back at it again. Just by looking at me, it looks like it'd probably be like 65, 70 degrees Fahrenheit out, but it's gonna be in the mid 90s for sure. I just always like to wear lots of clothes, so I sweat a whole shit ton. I wear a lot of clothes just to protect myself from the sun, so that's why I always wear these white arm covers. So it's a lot nicer than having to wear like a long sleeve shirt. And many of you are very familiar with the hat. And then we have a nice little addition today. We've got the snake guards on. So while I was actually measuring out a contour line or marking out a contour line, when I was walking back to the level, I heard a so I looked over there and I was just like, holy bejesus, that is a rattler. And it was probably only about maybe 100, 150 feet away from our house. So I quickly kind of walked around the other way. Today, we're gonna be wearing the snake guards just in case. So specifically where we're working, there's some grassy areas here so the snakes can kind of hide under the trees very easily. Typically, they're not gonna really mess with you unless you mess with them first. But if I'm jumping in and out of the tractor, I'm not necessarily always looking exactly where my feet are going. So I definitely don't want to step on a snake and then have it bite me. That would just absolutely suck. So what we're going to be working on today is doing our first swale. I've been trying to find like a good spot to do swales, and that's kind of proved to be a little bit, just a little bit tricky. Maybe it's just my inexperience. But specifically with how our land is, there's a lot of drainage ways on it, which you guys have seen from the drone shots. So there's like a lot of kind of minor drainage ways. Some of them are pretty major, like the ones that I showed you on another video when we were getting a storm. But a lot of the other ones, there's a lot of little drainage ways, and you don't necessarily want to use a swale in a drainage way. It's not really an appropriate earthwork to put in a drainage way. You want to use something more like a check dam or something like that in a drainage way. For an earthwork there. So if you guys have any tips, any permaculture buffs out there, if you guys have any tips just for our kind of landscape about how to kind of, where we should be focusing on putting swales, that would be tremendous. So what we're going to be doing is I've picked an area here that is between the rain roof and where our house is. So it's just uphill from where our house is, and just picked a nice little contour here. Something else that I have to keep in mind is that I'm going to be digging these out with the backhoe on the tractor. So I want to make sure that I have enough room in order to get the tractor by trees. So I also want to get these contours either just downstream of a tree or on the upside of it. So I don't want the contour line to be going right into a tree, because it definitely makes it a lot more difficult to dig that berm and basin. So there's a lot of different names that people use for swales. It can be a swale on contour. It can be a berm and basin. It can be a contour trench. There's a lot of different little things that you can call it. Now, the purpose of a swale is to capture and to harvest water that's going to be kind of like flowing down a slope, but not in a drainage way. So the water is going to focus in the basin part of the swale, and then it's going to sink and store into the ground. And that's why swales are so important, because you can take an area that really doesn't have any vegetation, because you can cut all these swales on contour, and as they get rain, those the swales are going to fill up with water. That water is going to slowly sink into the ground, and then you can do a lot of plantings in swales as well. So a good thing to do is to plant trees. What we're going to be planting in the swales is I'm going to be just planting some fescue grass, and I've also got some bird seed. We don't have any trees to plant right now, but probably next time I get some trees, we'll do some, maybe I'll plant some mesquites, or I don't know. We'll figure something out. So we're going to start the swale right here. There is a little bit of a dip right here for this very, very minor drainage way. So I could either just continue the swale up like that, or if I just follow it, this line right here, basically that's the same contour right there as it is right in that spot. So I was out here last night just kind of mucking around right in the evening time, just because it's the best light to see the laser level. So that's what I use here to figure out the contour line. Little laser level, piece of 2x4, some marking paint. A water level works just as well. Just that with the water level, you need 2 people. So the swale is going to start right here. It's going to come just under this tree here, and then we're going to work our way right down here. So it's good to mark it out with the paint. So then when I'm in the tractor, I kind of know where I'm digging. I'm gonna end up right here, I believe. I'm gonna end it right here. I did want to kind of continue it over that way, but you can kind of see the contour line here. It takes a bit of a weird kind of zigzag here. So I don't know if that would look too good. So the reason why that the swale is on contour, what I mean by on contour is that every piece of this line here, it's at the same elevation. So if one end of the swale was higher than the other end, what it would create is a diversion swale, and you'd be diverting the water from the high spot down to the low spot. That type of swale could certainly have an application if you want to move the water from one part of your land to another part. And I think Joe from Homesteadonomics, I think he kind of has contour diversion swales that are diverting water into where he grows his fruit trees. So there are uses for it, but for this swale here, we just wanted to capture, hold, and sink that water right into the ground. And after we plant some of the seeds, then we're gonna cover it up with mulch. Probably the hardest part of this is gonna be all the raking. So after I do all the digging, we're gonna basically do a bit of raking and stuff, and then I'll get some rock for the ends, and then that's where the overflow is gonna be. Hope that made sense. I'm still a permaculture beginner. And then Cindy sent me this nice eclipse t-shirt, and today is Monday, so it is the solar eclipse here in Arizona. I don't think we're really gonna see it very well. We'll see kind of like a partial covering, but yeah, it's the eclipse today. How cool. So this is the almost finished swale here. So at the end there, we've got the rock for the overflow coming all the way down over here. We've got the rock on the other side for the overflow, and then we have Farmer Hannah down there. She's gonna help me spread some seed.
We have Pennington, the bird food people. Bird blend. Select.
So a permaculture designer in Tucson, Dan Dorsey, recommended just using a good blend of birdseed and just plant that directly into the basin part of it. So what's in there, Hannah?
There is millet, sunflower, safflower wheat, milo.
Perfect. And then on the actual berm part, on the raised part, we're gonna just be planting some grass. So this is just some drought-tolerant fescue grass. So for any of you golfers, you know that if you're in the fescue, that's usually not a good thing to, it's not a good place to be.
Is that in the rough?
Yes.
That's where I would be.
The fescue is like really, really tall rough that you normally see overseas. The fescue. On the berm part here, we'll be planting the grass. So it'll just, hopefully once the grass grows, it'll add a bit of structure to it and prevent it from eroding and stuff with the rain. So that'll be good. And then in the basin part, if we can get some vegetation growing just with the birdseed, that's good. But what I'm also thinking is when we get some trees soon, is that we can plant a few trees directly in the Swale basin here. How does that sound? You want to plant some trees?
I just planted 8 trees.
Hannah's going nuts on the moringa trees. I think we have like 7 or 8. Is that 8 total?
1, 2, 3, 6 maybe?
Yeah, like
8,
a lot of moringa
7.
trees. So they apparently drought tolerant, do really well out here, don't really need a lot of water, so that's what we're gonna be.
And they grow 1 foot every month for the first year.
Damn.
So they get 10 feet tall in the first year. Our one is like this big.
Shit.
And
It's
I
getting
planted it
big.
like a month ago. Gross.
I'm so freaking gross today. It is just not, it's not pleasant. First swale on our property is finished for now. First of probably many, many, many. So they'll probably be pretty short. They won't be like super duper long. I don't know how long this one is. Probably at least
100 feet.
100 feet or so, I'd say, yeah.
Oh, I guess, right.
Yeah, a lot of them are gonna be about this size, maybe a little bit shorter. They're gonna be in different parts, and that's how we're gonna attack Operation Swale. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hannah made a cameo. I forced her to come in to the video.
Hello.
All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next video. Talk to you soon. Peace.